Hey there, Original Soul. Welcome into this affirmation reading. Thank you in advance for sharing your energy with this reading. Welcome in, welcome back. Let's get into it, shall we? All right, so I've got pre-shuffled oracle cards out. Give those a run through. First one out, Libra, I balance. Number 19. If you checked out the video last week, this is one of two cards that came falling out. So this is coming up again, so balance. The other card that came out last week was sacrifice, Neptune. So maybe there's a little more balance coming in this week, or maybe some kind of realization from last week. But balance still coming up at the top of the spread. All right. Care and nurturing, number 6. This is out of an Egyptian tarot deck. So care and nurturing, that goes hand in hand with balance. So the majority of people, we have a lot of things, excuse me, going on in life, whether that's, a lot of work, outside stuff, how much internet time, scrolling, meetings, to-dos, activities, get-togethers, sports, if you have kids, partners, whatever it may be, right? That list could be on and on and on. Where do those priorities fall? So care and nurturing is being highlighted this week. So I'm going to take a wild guess that is going to need to play into some balance. This is also tends to be a very busy time of year for a lot of folks. So that makes a lot of sense. All right. At the heart of the reading, this beautiful The Council card. It's a number 11 card. 11 is a master number. In this deck, the different cards, if they come out kind of upright or reverse, gives you different meanings. This did come out upright. So you can see on this card how she's got her hands over her heart. Her eyes are closed. She's going within. Although the card does talk about the council and sort of this connectedness, collective energy, universal energy, right? That there are guides and energy, light beings, ancestors, different types of sources where guidance and counsel can be drawn from. But in this upright version and in this meeting, you already know, right? That answer is inside of you. Go within, trust yourself. You already know the answer, right? So especially if balance is something that you're seeking or needing, right? Sneaking suspicion, you already know what to do. Care and nurturing, whether that's towards yourself or towards others. Forgiveness is coming up as well. So, that can be something that's really hard to do. Holding on to resentment is a little easier to do than forgiving. But a lot of times when you do that and hang on to anger, hurt, resentment, those types of feelings, right, that really does ultimately just hurt yourself, kind of keeps things replaying over and over. So if that's a message for you at all, just keeping that in mind. Again, you already know, look at the purity and kind of white, soft glow, kind of hue around her and that card. Similar even on this card as well. Right, there's someone bringing something in cups, some kind of sustenance to nurture. I think he's also suckling on this goddess. Both of them are in white. Just kind of picking up on that color right now as well, which is about purity, can be about intuition, spirituality. So again, more relying on yourself and that type of connection to find balance, whatever that might mean. All right, and then the crystal card that came out with these oracle messages, Howlite. Which I believe can also be good for anxiety. The message on this card, organize your headspace. Where to put it, wherever you need some breathing room. When to use it, when you need a break from the never-ending onslaught of DMs, meeting requests, trending stories, less is more, none is most. Howlite can help. So I was kind of just saying a little bit of that. Under the care and nurturing and balance, maybe some of those types of activities take up maybe more of your day than you realize. All right, so Howlite. Got my daughter a piece of that as a back to school gift. She was feeling a little nervous. All right, at the root of this reading, out of the Sacred Cycles deck, this Empress card, number 24, which also boils down to a 6. So that care and nurturing. So that Empress energy, and I think in the, maybe it was the overall Capricorn season reading, I think the Empress was also at the root of the spread out of maybe the traditional tarot deck. But the Empress, I love too, you notice she has this white dot on her forehead. I was just talking about that color white and picking up on that. She's also got the white crown, moon and stars right across symbol. She's holding up her hand, holding a scepter. I think I want to read the interpretation out of this one. I read it a moment ago and it really, for me, just kind of clicked the whole thing together. Affirmation. I know the way. But out of this deck. All right, I see the highest path. Stepping back from the demands and endless expectations that she will continually provide for others, the Empress brings a distinctive approach to the feminine wisdom of care and boundaries. She embodies the sense of one surveying her queendom, carefully taking stock of what flows and what or who has got to go. The Empress imbues nurturance in unique ways, seeking stability between what's right for her and what's best for the collective. Deeply connected to the one true great mother, Mother Earth, she prioritizes being in equilibrium and so calls on you to create balanced dynamics in your own life. Right? I mean, come on. The Empress is a reminder that the choice is to say no, step back from a partnership, and speak confidently about your needs are all steeped in sacred sovereignty. Your self-confidence in decision-making can be strengthened by spending time in communion with the earth as you step outside the daily happenings to remember the big picture. Feel the interconnectedness and harmony that exists within the natural world. Journal prompt. Where do I need to stop questioning myself and trust that I have the right answer within me? All right, so when I read that, I honestly got a little teared up a little bit, gave me some chills, but that really summed up everything the other cards were talking about, right? The Empress finds that balance between herself and others. The example that that book gave was talking about maybe stepping back from a partnership or maybe needing to speak something about your own sovereignty or a truth or your needs in that. And Libra does traditionally rule the 7th house, which is about partnerships. It can also be about contracts, legal types of things. Partnerships, it's more long-term types of relationships, whether that's a marriage, right? Maybe you've had a bestie for 20 years or something, family, right? Really long-term types of relationships. And then again, I know the highest path. I see the highest path at the very end in the book. It was talking about how, right, that is within you. You already know that. Mention the care and nurturing again, finding that equilibrium between self and others. Boom. Wow, that's awesome. All right, so affirmation for the week. We're still going to add in some spirit animal and some tarot, but that feels like the vibe, right? I know the way. I love that. All right, let's add spirit animal into the mix. Right, and sometimes that can be really hard, especially if, right, others around you, especially if they're close relationships, right, maybe aren't totally in agreement with what you think might bring in balance. But again, you know the way. That's at the heart of the reading. I can share a little personal example. This was, oh my gosh, I've been seeing bats literally everywhere. Transition. I should probably just take this card. We'll let something come out in the shuffle. But this was years ago. After a relationship ended, I was needing to move, selling a house, and I decided I needed to get closer to work with my kids. I was spending a lot of time. That was back when I had to go in the office every day. So spending a lot of time driving to work. They were little. It's just a lot. And so I decided to move to an apartment closer to the office. And a lot of people that were really close to me, important relationships, really strongly disagreed with where I was moving. They thought it was too far. It was selfish, and they had their own concerns and own reasons, I'm sure, thinking for my, best interest and my kids' best interest, and kind of like, Natalie, what are you doing? But I really I knew it was the right thing to do, and I did it, and it drastically improved the time we had together. I had more time to be with my kids because I was spending less time in the car. Selling the house, moving to an apartment at that point in time, just gave me less responsibilities and things that I had to worry about and take care of when I had 2 small children. The stress reduced, and I just had more time with my family. It absolutely created more balance. Nobody understood the situation, right? But it all ended up working out. Love the city, still living in that area. So yeah, all right, I think I've probably shuffled these enough now that I've been talking, blabbing, sharing. Let's call it sharing. That sounds nicer, doesn't it? So anyway, I don't know if there's anything, in your life as well, where maybe you just really feel like you do know, and you're really doing it for your highest good and out of compassion, care, nurturing, love, and for best interest sort of reasons. All right. Let's see. What do we get? Turtle, calm at the bottom. All right. Zebra, open-mindedness is what came out. There is more than one way of looking at things. You must be ready to accept alternative viewpoints and new ideas. You must open your eyes to new ideas and new ways of resolving problems. I do love that message. Sometimes, a lot of times, in many situations, we kind of tend to go with like, it's either this or that. There's only this way, that way. There's only A or B, one thing to do. And really we know, right? It's not just A or B, it's A through Z. Just because you can't always see that option doesn't mean there aren't other solutions out there. All right, let's add an Angel Tarot card to the mix. Right, and with that balance, and with that Empress too, right? If there was something you needed to speak about, some of your needs, right? In that compassionate, care, and nurturing way, approaching it from, that highest self, highest good approach. Right? You never know what may come about, right? If it has to do with another person, that person may even surprise you. I can't be the only one that thinks of the worst case scenario that's going to happen in a situation, right? But then maybe take a moment to think of what's the best case scenario, and then maybe let it play out in the real world and see what actually happens, right? It might fall somewhere in between. Ooh, somebody fell out. Okay, 8 of Swords. Number 14. God, protector and savior, truth and justice, protection from enemies who would steal one's fortune. I love these images and pictures. on these cards. I think these images are supposed to be more maybe realistic versions of the angels. I could be wrong about that, but I still love the artwork on these cards. So God, protector, and savior, you are protected. In the Egyptian card and even the council card, right? You have that team, your spirit team, you've got universal energy, your own intuition. In the Egyptian card, this was associated with the crane and did talk about too having like a wing of protection or like a wing of hug. So knowing a wing of hug, is that a thing? But just that sensation of being held and protected. And again, truth and justice coming out in this card as well. We've got balance at the top, Libra, which also is about justice. The justice card in tarot. All right, let's get one more here and then we'll close it out. All right, I love that no with I know the way, but zebra, just reminding you to be open-minded. There's a difference of knowing truly in your heart, still being receptive, and not totally bullheaded. Right? It doesn't hurt to hear other sides, opinions, thoughts for different situations. But ultimately, right, it is, oh my goodness, your choice, your life, your world, right? So being that Empress, acting in that balanced, but super grounded, earthy way. All right, let's do it. Yeah, cutting the deck with the 3 of Swords. That card will not stop coming out. All right, let's see what we get. 4 of Wands at the bottom. That's better. That's more like celebrating, ceremony. All right, Knight of Wands to add to this reading. Speaking of, I know the way, right? The Knight of Wands is forging the way, moving forward, taking that passion, that inner knowing. See all this red, that fire internal, and moving forward. Sweet, I love this. Awesome. All right, I hope something in here was a message for you. I can definitely take something out of this. If so, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to leave me a comment. But that's it. That's the message for the week. I know the way. You know the way. Thank you again so much for being here, sharing your energy with this reading. And until next time, peace.